Ford is warning customers not to drive certain Bronco Sport and Maverick models after the company discovered a rare but dangerous defect that can cause drivers to lose control of their car.
On the 1st of June 2026, Ford told thousands of owners to stop driving their Broncos and Maverick trucks and SUVs. Not soon, immediately. While the stop driving alert hits all cars, it's about certain Bronco Sport and Maverick models, and it comes down to one small part in the front suspension. A ball joint that may not have been put together right. If it lets go while you're driving, you lose steering. But the real story? That's buried in the paperwork. Across the Ford forums right now, owners are looking at this number, 4,653, and cannot get over how specific it is. Not around 5,000. Not certain vehicles. 4,653. The running gag is that Ford must have somehow traced the whole thing back to one guy. One employee, covering shifts here and there over 5 years, quietly installing ball joints wrong. It's a great joke. It's also completely wrong, because the real reason that number is so precise is buried in a 5-page federal filing that most people will never open. And once you read it, the story gets a lot more interesting than one guy messed up. Let's start with the single fact that reframes this entire recall. It's sitting right there in Ford's own report to the government, and almost nobody reported it. Ford estimates that 1% of these vehicles actually have the defect. 1%. Out of 4,653 cars under a do not drive order, Ford's own estimate is that roughly 46 of them actually have a bad joint. So why order all of them off the road? Because of what happens when this particular part fails. We'll get to that. But understand the logic first. This recall population isn't a list of known bad cars. It's a net. Ford cast it wide. Not because they think thousands of these are broken, but because the failure is severe enough that you cannot afford to guess which 46 they are. That's the honest version, and it already tells you the one employee theory doesn't hold. You don't need a rogue worker to explain a 1% defect rate. You need something more mundane and, frankly, more unsettling. Here's the thing that makes the number look almost suspiciously precise. This isn't one defect, it's two, and they're divided by a single date. June the 1st, 2025. For the cars built before that date, it's an assembly problem. But, and this is critical, Ford didn't include every car from that era. It only pulled in vehicles that were still unsold, or that had been in service for less than 3 months. Why? Because Ford's own field data shows this joint fails very early in a car's life, almost immediately or not at all. Think about what that means. If you've got a 2021 Bronco Sport that's been driving fine for 4 years, you're not in this recall. And you're not excluded because Ford got lazy. You're excluded because your car already survived the danger window. If that joint was going to let go, it would have done it back in 2021. Now, the cars built on or after June 1st, 2025, that's a different problem. Those weren't badly assembled. Those were badly repaired. Vehicles that got flagged at the factory, sent off to a repair station to have the joint sorted out, and then may have shipped out before that repair was actually finished. Same date. 2 entirely different stories. 1. Recall number. That's why the population scatters across 5 model years in a way that looks random, and it's why you genuinely cannot guess your way to safety here. You have to run the VIN number. So if it wasn't one careless employee, what was it? The answer is a word you'll see all over modern manufacturing: error proofing. The idea that the machine itself catches mistakes before they leave the station. And on this line, before that June 2025 fix, the error proofing had a blind spot. Here's how the joint is supposed to go together. The ball joint stud slides fully into the wheel knuckle. Then a pinch bolt clamps down and holds it there. Simple. But the station wasn't checking whether the stud was fully seated. It was checking whether the pinch bolt hit its target torque. And you can hit correct torque on a stud that's only partially inserted. So the machine would clamp down, read the correct torque value, and light up green. Job done. Except the joint underneath was only half in. The station measured the wrong thing and it greenlit bad parts because of it. That's the root cause, not a person, a validation gap, the fix. Ford rolled out on June 1st, 2025 didn't discipline anybody. It closed that gap so the station could no longer pass a joint that wasn't fully home. Which, if you ask me, is a far more honest and far more useful thing to understand than some guy did it wrong. So how did Ford catch it? Not by auditing shift schedules, by reading warranty claims. And the trail is oddly specific. On April the 30th, 2026, Ford's chassis team pulls a warranty claim. a 2025 Bronco Sport. The left front wheel went misaligned while the owner was driving at 1 month in service. The joint had separated from the knuckle. That car was built in Hermosillo on May the 17th, 2025. Then they find a second one, another 2025 Bronco Sport. The left front wheel felt loose, this time at 0 months in service. Built August 28, 2025. That's the shipped before the repair was finished case. Then a third, a 2022 Bronco Sport. 1 month in service. Built December 10th, 2021. Look at the pattern. All three Bronco Sports. All three the left front. All three failed within about a month of hitting the road. And here's a detail I want to be straight with you about, because getting this right is the whole point of this channel. Not a single Maverick failure appears in that report. The 2,357 Mavericks in this recall aren't there because one broke. They're swept in because they share the exact same part from the exact same plant. Ford is being cautious with them, not reactive. That's a distinction most coverage flattened, and it matters. Here's another one that got missed. You know how a lot of recalls start? Owners flood the government with complaints, pressure builds, an investigation opens. Not this time. Ford states it's not aware of a single owner complaint filed about this issue. 0. No crashes on record, no injuries. This entire recall came out of Ford's own internal warranty data before the public ever knew there was a problem, which is exactly why, to owners, it seemed to appear out of thin air. There was no drumbeat of complaints leading up to it because there weren't any. Now watch how fast Ford moved once they saw it, because for a suspension defect, this is genuinely quick. April 30th, the first claim spotted. May 12th, it's escalated to Ford's Critical Concern Review Group. May 19th, the Field Review Committee signs off on a field action. May 27th, the report was filed. May 29th, dealers notified, VIN numbers lookup goes live. June 1st through 5th, owners' letters go out, backed up by phone calls and emails because mail is too slow for this. From the first warranty claim to a full do not drive advisory, 27 days. That pace tells you something. You don't compress a recall timeline like that for a problem you think is minor. So let's answer the question hanging over all of this. If only about 1% of these cars are actually defective, why the most severe advisory Ford can issue? Because of what fails. The ball joint is the pivot that ties your control arm to the wheel and lets that wheel steer. If it separates while you're moving, you don't get a warning light. You don't get a limp home mode. You lose steering control of that corner of the car instantly. There's no gentle version of that failure, and there's no advanced symptom the driver can rely on. So Ford applied its most serious category, a stop driving order, to a very small, very low probability population. That combination is unusual, and it's the clearest signal in this entire story of how seriously Ford is taking the consequence, even while betting the odds are low. Alright, the practical part. If you own a Bronco Sport or a Maverick, here's what actually matters. 1. Check your VIN number. Don't guess by model year. Remember, these cars aren't even built in VIN number order, so the pattern looks random. Run the 17 digits at Ford's recall site. 30 seconds. 2. If you're clear, you're clear. Most of these vehicles are not in this campaign. Hundreds of thousands were built. 4,000 odd are affected. 3. If you are affected, stop driving it, including to the dealer. Ford set up a dedicated line to arrange towing and repair, and they're covering the tow. Some dealers will even send a technician to inspect it where it sits. And quick heads up if you've been Googling this, you'll see a second phone number floating around out there. The 833 number is the one Ford set up specifically for this recall. Use that one. The fix itself is straightforward. A technician inspects the joint on both sides, and if it's not fully seated, they secure it properly. Free. Every penny, including the tow, is on Ford. So, back to that forum joke. The one about Ford tracing it all to one guy covering shifts. The truth is less funny and a lot more revealing. That oddly precise number, 4,653, didn't come from hunting down an employee. It came from 3 cold filters. What date the car was built, how long it's been on the road, and whether it got flagged for an in-plant repair that may never have been finished. And the thing Ford admitted in black and white, the thing worth remembering, is that they expect roughly 99% of these cars to be perfectly fine. They pulled all of them anyway, because when the part that fails is the one that steers your car, 1% is 1% too many. If this is the kind of breakdown you want, the actual filing, not the headline, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe the channel, and don't forget to hit the little bell so that you're alerted to all our Ford videos.